welcome to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, and this time around it will be in English, as you may already have noticed, and of course I'm going to tell you about 3 different games today, which will be Sync Me, Fruit Secrets and Chimpact Run. My name is Jared, and as always I have a couple of different input devices with me, which is of course Arc Mouse from Microsoft, which is this mouse here, for input device like mouse or touch or whatever. And of course we are going to use the Foldable keyboard as the main keyboard input device. And in this episode there is even a game that can be played with a gamepad, and for that we are going to use the Xbox One as a wireless controller, which is, as all the other input devices, a Bluetooth device, and we are going to use that to connect to the smartphone, which is in my case the Lumia 950 XL, of course, with back cover from Mozo, with the zebrawood cover from Mozo at the back. And as you can see, it has a USB-C connector at the bottom here, and we can use this cable, for instance, or you could do it wirelessly, but we are going to use a cable. And we are going to connect it with the display dock, which is this little fella here at the side. And the display dock itself is connected with the TV, and like that we can get these desktop-like experience on this TV or display or whatever you have there, a beamer for instance, or a projector, sorry, would work too. And of course everything is just produced by the smartphone here, so the smartphone is the core of all this. If you want to know more about that, please have a look at the corner there. You will find a couple of other videos there where I'm going to explain that a little bit more in detail. And yeah, then I would say let's start with the first game, and the first game is Sync Me. For that I'm going to go to my all apps list here, going to click on that, and then here it is, Sync Me Multiplayer. This is a small little but quite fun game, played with, for instance, the keyboard in this case, and you can play it with on-screen controls, for instance, too, if you want to. But the interesting part about this game is more or less that it's multiplayer if you want to play it, but you can play it with bots too, and if there are no players available, then of course you're going to play against bots. And what you can see here is you have little ships, which is this one. I already upgraded it a little bit, but in the end this is your ship you are going to use. At the start you will have to buy your first cannon parts here to play on, and then you are going to upgrade that ship all over again after a couple of plays. And what you have to do here are different, I'm going to turn down the volume a little bit. Let's do it like this. And what you are going to do here is you are going to control more or less this little ship from the top view, and you are trying to, for instance, fight against pirates, against other players, and stuff like that. And each and every round you are playing, more or less, because it's a multiplayer or a bot multiplayer, whatever you want to call that, you are going to fight in different tasks, more or less. So you have to do different quests to solve the level. There is, for instance, a quest where you are going to fight against pirates which are trying to go over a line you have to defend. And of course there are other games too, like something like a capture of flag, like a flag game, where you have some kind of treasure and you try to hold the treasure as long as you can, and try to, more or less flee from the other part, and or the other players here. And there are different players around, and there is of course all those pirates which are going to try to hunt you down. Yeah, and so let's have a look at what we can do here. First off, let's have a look at the options. There is not too much with it here. You can, for instance, put in the controls. So if you want, for instance, to use the modern controls, this would be, for instance, for smartphones or something that you can use that. We can activate it or deactivate it. It really doesn't matter. And then you can, of course, tell the game if you want to mute the game or if you want to have audio in the background. You already are hearing what I'm talking about here, probably. And then you can give your ship some kind of a name. For instance, at my place I'm always going to call it Fuhur CG for Continuum Gaming, of course. And if you want now, you can go out here and have a look at the, for instance, store. The store is all about in-game money in this case, and what you are going to do here is you are just going to play against the other players. And for instance, if you are going to sink one of the other ships or something, or of course if you solve the puzzle, so win more or less the game or the quest you are on, you are getting money for that. And if you go to this, you can now see that there are a couple of different things to upgrade. For instance, this is health, so how many shots can you take? This is speed, if I'm not wrong, how fast are you going to drive around and do stuff. This is how many cannons you got, so at the moment we have 2 cannons at each side. And of course, if you for instance want to have 3 or something, you can use that too, and this just means that you can fire more often. And this is reloading of the cannons, so if you want to fire more rapidly, you need to upgrade this. And this is more or less repairing your ship in a faster way and stuff like that, so it depends on what you are going to want to do here. But in the end, this is more or less what you have as an option for your buying experience, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so and now let's start with this. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use my keyboard as mentioned before, and what I'm going to use here is the space bar for stopping your ship or driving around. And that will just for instance put up the sails or not. And then you will need the left and the right key, for the most at least, with which you are going to drive around. Firing is done automatically, so if you are in fire sight to the enemy in any kind of way, they are going to fire at him anyway, and you don't have to do anything for that. Okay, so let's try it out, and I think I will turn around a little so I can easier play this game, because it's not really difficult or something, but there's still something you have to do for that. And like that, we are going to play this, and I might need both of my hands, so I can, for instance, use one of my hands for these buttons and one for the space bar, of course. So let's try this out. And here we are. At the start, you are always getting this kind of plan what to do. So as you can see, we are going to fight against Team Blue, and this is more or less a death race, as it seems to be. And after that, we are going to close this down, and now we can just start to play here. Let's see. Yeah, we activated the modern device part. I'm not a really big fan of this kind of part, so let's go back to the main menu here. This would be, you can use your mouse to control this, but this is less fun if you ask me. So let's get rid of the controls option here and go in again. And you might have another game now. As you can see, now we are going to defend this line against pirates, which are going to go after us. And we want, of course, to kill them more or less and to hold them back. So, as you can see in this kind of game, now we can use our keyboard for that. And in this kind of game there is a timer, because there are a lot of pirates and you will have to fight against them. And as you can see, there are a couple of small options to fight against them. For instance, just standing there and trying to rotate your ship around so that the enemy can't hit you could be quite a good one. You may want to try to get out of this too, and like that we can try to fight them. Let's see if we can take that one out too. He has 3 cannons, so pretty hard enemy. It doesn't really matter, you are going to be revived after that, and there are these little parts there, but now we have to be fast and try to kill those, and they are pretty powerful. The good thing they are firing against each other too, but as you can see, 5 seconds from the win we just lose it because the pirate drove over the line, and that is what will trigger our loss here. Yeah, and as you can see, we have a credits bonus gained here, so we can now buy something, and there will be some kind of a lottery. So as you can see, prize wheel, we can now spin this, and we will gain any kind of money or a couple of other things we can gain here. And as you can see, we have 600 coins now, and with this 600 coins we can go to the store and try to buy something. For instance, we could go to 3 cannons we would like to use here, or we could go, for instance, to this kind, so reloading the cannons in a faster way. I'm not even sure what would be the better option here. I think I will go with 3 cannons for now. As you can see, you can upgrade this to 4 cannons on each side, so 8 cannons on your boat land. And like that, we might want to try it once again. I just like this game. I don't know why. It's pretty easy or pretty small somehow, but really nicely done. And it's again the same part we had there. As you can see, there are these areas where you can drive to, and if you drive to them, then for instance you are repaired, which could be pretty nice. But a lot of them already after me again. Yeah, that one was pretty good. Now let's drive back to one of those repair shops, more or less. So if we go to there, we can hold on that, and now as you can see, we gain all our health back, and we can try it again. And now I think we are going to lose this again, because we are just not fast enough, and if they drive over that lane, then we are gone. It's hard if you are not going to hunt them down very fast, and I don't know if there really is a limit in this game, how many pirates are going to come after us. But as I mentioned before, pretty nice game. Try it out if you like it. It's really a nice one, and I play it quite happily. Yeah, it's more or less fun. Okay, so let's go to the next game, and the next game will be Fruit Secrets, and this is more or less a puzzle game, or better to say a 3-to-win game, but with a twist more or less, because it's really more like a puzzle game. It's not really, you're not going to be able to solve all the levels here with just clicking around and not doing anything. You really have to think about what you are doing in this game. So let's go to that. It's called Obstgeheimnisse in German, or Fruit Secrets in English. If I click on that, then you can see we have a quite sneak interface. It's really not much to think about here. You just click on play, and if you go to that, you can for instance go to the simple part here, and you can of course play as the other ones too. If you want to play them at start, they are locked more or less, and you would have to buy them if you wanted to play them by just at the start, and not trying to open them up by solving all the levels in simple, for instance. And I have to admit that I wasn't able to solve level 9 till now, because it's pretty hard. I don't know why. Maybe there is a way, but I didn't figure it out till now. So let's have a look at the, let's say, level 6. We could start with level 1 or something, but this is really just for learning how it's done or something. It's really that easy that we don't have to worry about it much. So let's start with 5 or something, don't know. As you can see, we have a couple of different fruit options here. So this is a kiwi, and here is a melon and stuff like that. And now we can, for instance, just turn them around, and as you may have noticed, there is this icon up there, and this is how many rounds or how many actions you can perform, more or less. So if you are not going to be able to solve this with these actions, you are going to die. And this is why I told you about, you have to think about what you are doing here, because it's really exactly like that. You can't really just click around and everything will work out, but you really have to think a little what's going on, and then you go to next and play the next one. And here again, you only have 2 different actions to solve all of these. So let's have a look how to solve them. For instance, we could use the kiwi now at this point and put it back at this point, so down here. This would solve this, but after that we would probably be in trouble. But let's think about if that is correct or not. Yeah, I would say it's pretty troublesome here. We will try it. You can try it as long as you want to try it, and after a while you get the hang of it, and you are probably going to see where to go. Most importantly, you can't switch those elements here by turning them up and down, but only by turning them left and right, or moving them left and right. And like that, please be aware of that. So you are not able to do this. So trying to, for instance, use this grapefruit or whatever that is with this lemon or whatever wouldn't work out. So let's have a look at what we can do other than that. Okay, let's try this out, whatever. And yeah, it's working out. Since all the parts are going to drop down, then you just have to get all of those done then, and everything should work. Same here. If we, for instance, want to solve this, we have two different actions here, and as you can see, we are not able to solve this anymore, because if, for instance, I wanted to get those over there, everything is over, we can't do anything more, and then it's just reloading, and you can try it again and again and again. And this is more or less what we are going to do here. And we, of course, have to follow a certain event order, whatever, to get this solved. And after a while, the levels are going to be more difficult than before. In this level, we have 4 different actions, which is quite a lot already. All the levels I played before are quite simple and not very long, but you still have to think about them. But let's see what we have to do here. And in the end, there's not much what we could do other than this, and this should work out. Yeah, okay, so this is easy, but now I think we are already at level 9 again, and I wasn't able to solve this till now. So let's try a couple of things out here again, but probably I'm going to stop it here because I tried a couple of things and I didn't get the hang of it here. So let's move this around. We only have 3 actions with this game. So try this. This will help us here. Now we got this, but it's over again because we can't combine those then, because there's a gap in between that. So this is not going to work out. Let's see what we could do at the next try. We could try to put those here. And this is probably not going to work out at all, because, yeah, over. Okay, next try. We could, for instance, try to get... Yeah, the problem is if we are moving this, the coconut will drop down, so we are not going to be able to solve this neither here. Let's see what we can do other than that. We could, for instance, put the kiwi over here, which is not going to work pretty much. Not working out. Not going to work. And as you can see, I'm not able to solve this. I'm not sure why. Probably I'm just too dumb. Whatever. But as you can see, this game is for the people who like to solve puzzles more than just going to Candy Crush everything out. And Candy Crush is more like a game which is more like having a timer and being fast and stuff like that is very important. And of course you can see different things there and do a lot of different things. This is more simple, but more complex for your brain, if you ask me. So try it out if you like this kind of game. Well, then close this down again too, and let's have a look at the last game in this episode. And this is a game we are going to play with the Xbox One as a wireless controller, as mentioned before. It's called Chimpact Run, and it's pretty much a clone of Donkey Kong, not really. Maybe Donkey Kong. Let's say one of the newer iterations of Donkey Kong, more or less. So let's have a look how to play this and what this is all about. It's a jump and run. There we go. Chimpact Run. And I'm going to turn around again. And it's really a very nice jump and run. With the character you see here. Let's turn the volume a little bit down so I can not talk to you anymore. And as you can see, we can now use this controller here to navigate around and do stuff with it. At least we should be able to. Maybe not in the menu, I'm not sure at the moment, but let's see what we can do here. First off, let's go to the controls here, or the parts here. Here you can choose between different options. For instance, you can choose a different language. I'm going to keep it at the English version here, but you could do any other language here. You can of course go to sound effects and music and ambient volume and try to do stuff there, but not much more like this. Okay, and then more games is available. Here you can see how much money you already made. And you can of course buy stuff here, but I wouldn't go through with that at the moment. And after that, of course, you can for instance click on this and see your achievements in this. So you can see there are different complete worlds available here, which are a couple of them, I think 6 or something. And we can still do more here, more or less, but let's see what we can do here. And as you can see, I activated my my controller again, and now you have this kind of option to control the game all over in this whole in this setup with the Xbox One as wireless controller or your gamepad you are going to use. It was more or less in sleep mode. Because of that I had to reactivate it, but now let's go and use it. For instance, A will of course select stuff, and now we can go and have a look at the different levels. As you can see, we have a couple of levels we can already see here, and a couple of levels I played already, and so we are going to have a look at that and try it out. So first off, this is more or less the training level. So if you go to that, that's a training level where you are going to have a very easy way to play. After that, level 1, I already played that, and now let's try to play level 2. Selection with A. And here you already, here you can already see what's going on. We have a couple of different characters we could try to buy after a while. We have a couple of different power-ups here. And after that, this is your little character you are playing at the moment. So let's use that one and go on here. And of course it's a jump and run, so you have to jump and run your way around. There are a whole lot of a couple of different power-ups and stuff like that you're going to play with. And if you, for instance, can't go up, there we run. You want to collect as many of the bananas here as you can, of course, and now just run around. Try to get everything you can here, and it's really action-packed all over. So you can see we have different options here. You don't have to use anything else than it's really extremely like Monkey or the Donkey Kong version. I'm not aware of. I'm not sure what the name was, but there is double jump and stuff like that, as you can see, and of course you are more or less only using your A key with your controller at the moment. That might change, but at the moment this is more or less what we are going to do. And as you can see, it's really very noisy. The game has many different sprite animations going on. We have different power-ups all over. There are enemies. For instance, these birds, you don't want to hit them and stuff like that. But in the end, it's not really important to do much with them. We ranked up. You can see that with the status here. If I click on that, let's see. There. You can see that we are ranked up and we are now level 3, monkey, whatever. And so this is more or less what we are going to play here. And let's have a look at the 3rd level. Okay. And here again there is this power up part. We have some other character available now. Let's see if we can play her, I think. Yeah, her again. Yeah, there is, she is. And so let's have a look. As you can see, we have all the power-ups here up. We can slow that down so that it's not that crowded if we want to, but in the end we don't have to, and we can just run around and use her now. And I really like this game somehow. It's nicely done. There are many different power-ups, many different things to explore here. For instance, as you can see, there are some kind of, okay, Aladdin-like power-ups and many different things more. You have a double, and there we go. You have a double jump, as you might already have noticed. So clicking again will let you do this kind of salto or whatever that is called. And like this we can go on here too. There are different ways to go on here, and as I mentioned before, it's extremely cloudy if you ask me. Woohoo! Jump over there, couldn't, whatever. Take all the bananas you can and try to solve that jump and run part. And as you can see, there are a lot of helpers too, so like those coconuts we are going to use here. If you jump on one of the birds, you can jump on them. You shouldn't be hit by them in any other kind of way. And then you are going to get all this different money, which is put into your account more or less there. And now you can see, if you pass this, so more or less how many diamonds you are going to collect is very important for you. If you are not going to collect more than half of them, you are not going to pass the level. And now you would go to the next level and play that one again too. Yeah, and this is more or less a game. I think you already know what this is all about. If you like this kind of jump and run, even with the Xbox One wireless controller for instance, or any other gamepad as mentioned before, you should try this out. Very funny, pretty much something you can give all your different children, for instance. So any kind of age should be happy with this game because it's very action-packed and stuff like that. So hope you had fun. Hope you liked this episode, because we are more or less at the end of this episode. And for that I'm going to close this app down now. And hope you had fun. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you have any kind of questions, please let me know in the comments below, of course. And if, for instance, you want to give this video a thumbs up, I would be happy about that, of course. And if you didn't subscribe till now, please do that at the button below. And of course, if you want to share this video or give it to your friends, do that too. Okay, so thank you for watching, thank you for listening. See you in the next episode at probably around Saturday or Sunday next week. And so, have a nice day. Thank you for watching and bye.